pretty one, Ulysses. There it is.
Hello Booktube, I'm Sean the Book Maniac. Welcome back to my channel. Here I am with the Booktube Watching Tag. I was tagged by Heidi of My Reading Life, a wonderful booktuber who I absolutely love her stuff. And the original tag is a booktuber unfamiliar to me. Her channel name is Harriet Rosie. So those videos are in the show notes. How many channels are you subscribed to? First of all, does anybody know an easy way to find this information? I had to do a manual count. There's nothing on any settings or anything anywhere that I could see that tabulated that. So by my count, 246 channels. Many of them are inactive, but that's how many I'm subscribed to. Number 2, when do you normally watch Booktube? I would say all day long, but I start my day, I wake up in the middle of the night every night at around 4 o'clock, and I often watch some Booktube then. And then when I get up, finally do get up in the morning, which is still pretty early, about 7 a.m. or if not earlier, while I'm washing dishes, because the only time I ever wash my dishes, is this too much information? I never wash dishes except in the morning while I'm boiling water to make my cup of coffee. And during that, it takes about 10 minutes. During that time, I wash all the dirty dishes that I have from the day before and watch YouTube, or at least listen. And then maybe while I'm drinking my morning coffee and on the train and when I'm having lunch, or whenever I can fit it in throughout the day. Number 3, how do you balance Booktube watching, reading, and making your own videos? I don't. But I guess Booktube watching takes a back seat to the other two. Most of my energy is balanced between reading and making my own videos, and I absolutely love it. I have put out a lot of content, about 3 to 5 videos a week. So I'm pretty busy making videos and reading. But I get a lot of Booktube watching in. I just wish the heck that YouTube had a way of playing the video with the cover of my iPad closed so that I could just walk along and listen. I do walk along and listen, but I have to keep the iPad cover open, and it's just a mess. I believe there is some premium membership you can get, but it's not available in Japan, so maybe that will get here eventually, where you can actually push play and close the cover, or put your iPhone in your purse or whatever and it still plays. What a concept. Is there a difference between videos you like watching and videos you like making? Sure, I guess I like to watch monthly wrap-ups, and I don't make those anymore. I like to watch TBRs, and I've never really made those. A lot of booktubers say they watch Booktube for the personalities of the booktubers rather than the content, and I have to say that, well, I do a little bit of that. I am only interested in watching Booktube about books that interest me, so I don't watch almost zero YA or genre fiction or whatever, just because I'm not interested, even though the people might be great. 5, who is the first booktuber you subscribed to, and do you still watch them? I first found out about Booktube from Simon Savage, whose podcast with Thomas Otto I had been listening to for a couple of years, and Simon started gradually referring more and more to his Booktube channel, and so I checked it out. Of course, yes, I still watch. Number 6, who is the most recent booktuber you subscribed to? I believe it was Ashley at A Frolic Through Fiction, because she was an integral part of a tag video that Matthew of MCS Books did. It was my original tag, the Booktube Parasite tag, and he did it leeching on to her and her channel, and because of that, and it was wonderful. I'm going to put the link to Matthew's video in this just because you should watch it. These questions are limited, so I'd love to recommend Matthew's channel. It's a wonderful channel. So that's the way that I will give him a little shout out here. But I haven't had a chance to look at Ashley's channel too much yet, but I'm looking forward to doing that. But that would be the answer to that question. Number 7, share an old favorite booktuber in terms of who's been around on YouTube, not age, right? So hands down, it would be Eric Carl Anderson, probably my favorite Booktube channel. His enthusiasm for new literary fiction especially, is just a joy to watch, and he's one of the very few booktubers where when there's a new video from him, I'll change my plans to sit. I have to watch it immediately. So yeah, I love his channel. Two more that I would like to mention. They're not as old as Eric's channel, but among many other booktubers, those two have stood out as being very influential to me in deciding to launch my own channel, and once I got going, receiving a lot of support and making some good friendships. So at the time that I was toying with putting my old channel out there, I was watching a booktuber who at that time was quite new. I think he was less than a month old, and that is Chris of Bookish, Cauldron. And I loved his channel. We don't share completely the same taste in books, but our tastes do overlap. But I just loved the way he talked about books, and because he was so new, and there was just something about it that really kind of gave me that last little push that I needed to start. So special place in my booktube heart for Chris, and also Curtis of Curtis Books and Films. I believe I had just started watching his channel as I was going live, and I maybe put a comment on his, and he watched my debut video, and I think he was my first subscriber or my third subscriber, and we have developed a fantastic friendship. And he doesn't have nearly enough subscribers. He gives some of the most erudite analyses of books that exist on YouTube. His channel is an absolute delight, so if you haven't checked him out, please do. So those are my three favorite old booktubers, quote unquote. 8. Share a new favorite booktuber. Many, but I'm going to give you two. And one is Lindsey of Lindsey's Book Life. I just discovered her in the last week or something, and she's fairly new, and her videos are so wonderful. She's so articulate, and I don't think she stammers or stutters or hums or haws at all. She just talks in a very natural way, and it's really a delight to watch her, and we have pretty similar taste in books. So yeah, I would highly recommend you checking out her, because her subscriber count is woefully low. Similarly, and I've mentioned him several times before, but once again, a shout out to Wilson Shugart. He just debuted his channel last week. Looking forward to his next video. Hint, hint, hint. What is one of your booktube pet peeves? I would say the only one that I really have, and it's such a small thing, but it does bug me, is people who don't list the books in their show notes or their description box. I think it takes 2 minutes to do it, and it's really a pain if you talk really fast, or if it's hard to catch the book names. So please just put them in your show notes, and then we can do our own further research. Is that too much to ask? What have you learned from watching other booktubers? So much. Anything that I know about being a booktuber, I've learned from watching other booktubers. And I would just say one of the things that gave me courage to start was I'd been watching a few booktube channels, and then I went back to some of those favorites. I remember I did this with, in particular, Steve Donahue, but several others that I had been watching, and watched their very first video or their very first few videos, and saw how much they were like deer in the headlights, just like I was going to be when I launched mine. And so that's the only advice I have to a new booktuber. If you need that last little push and you just think you don't have what it takes, none of us had what it took when we started. Go and watch your favorite booktuber's first video. You'll feel better, and you'll feel more encouraged. And the last one is to tag some of my favorite booktubers. This is a mix of new to me booktubers and old favorites. Many people that I would consider my favorite booktubers have already been tagged at least once. This does not represent a complete list, but just people that I don't think have done this tag. So as follows: Juan of Just One Reader, Russell of Ink and Paper Blog, the new to me booktuber that I just mentioned, Lindsey of Lindsey's Book Life, Marc Nash, Steve Partridge I don't think has done this one. Another new to me booktuber that I really like, Candice from Beacon Hill Books, Dane of Dane Reads, and I don't know this lovely lady's name, but ChallengeThyShelf. And of course, anybody else who would like to do this tag, you consider yourself tagged by me. So that was fun. Thanks for tagging me, Heidi, and thanks for watching.